Hello, this is Scotty McCoy. I am the author of the Ultimate Friday the 13th trivia book, and I'm doing another book titled The Ultimate Slasher Movie Encyclopedia. And I am interviewing the cast and crew of the Friday the 13th franchise, and I currently have on the phone with me Adam Cranner, and he played Ward in Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Hi, Adam. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just had a little, debacle here, but we're doing pretty good now. So the first question I have isn't really in regards to Friday the 13th, but it's how did you get your start into acting?
Oh, wow. Well, that started back in elementary school. I remember that the call went out for auditions for the school play of Tom Sawyer, and I, like every kid in the class, went out for the interviews or the auditions, and sure enough, I got the part of Tom Sawyer, and from there on out, I was hooked.
That is awesome. And I love that book, by the way. It's a classic by Mark Twain. I love that book. So how was your death scene filmed for the movie?
Well, I actually don't have a death scene. I have a preamble to a death scene.
Right.
Right, where you see my arm broken.
Yep.
And that was actually, we shot that scene first.
Okay.
Of me coming out of the diner and doing that whole bit. So it was kind of intimidating. It was the middle of the night. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're way out in Agora Hills. And, most of these people didn't know me from Adam, as it were. So they set up my arm gag. I remember doing that. That was the first thing we did, was that bit. It was great. It was hysterical because we were actually shooting that second unit, and Sean Cunningham was directing that particular piece, which was hysterical. So we did the bit where the bone comes squishing out of the skin, right. Where he snapped it out, and a big chunk of blood went squick right in the middle of the camera. And I just remember Sean saying "cut" and laughing and saying, "They are never going to let us keep that."
Wow, and they did. They did.
That was the first thing we did. And then, the only other thing we did was a bit where I got thrown into the glass door.
Right.
Which we shot that night. And I think it was the next day we did the scene where they shot all of the dead bodies on the floor in the diner.
Oh, okay. So what was your audition like for Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday?
I didn't actually audition.
Awesome.
I was, having been old friends with Adam Marcus, we went to high school together and had done a whole bunch of theater together. Adam called me up and said he wanted me in this. So it was his first directing gig, and I think he wanted to make sure he got some people in there who he knew he wouldn't have to argue with.
Right.
And not argue with, but like who he didn't have to work real hard to work with.
Yes.
Adam could tell me he needs blue, and I'd give him blue, because he directed me in 1,000 plays, and we'd worked together for a long time. So that was how I got the gig.
Awesome. So speaking of Adam Marcus, how was he as a director?
He was good. He knew what he wanted. And he was real good at communicating to me exactly what he wanted. I don't know much about the technical aspects and stuff, but certainly as an actor's director, he was terrific.
Awesome.
Really terrific to work with.
Yep. I'm gonna throw an impromptu question out there that I don't have on my list actually, and it's a lot of people. Recently Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday is starting to get a bigger fan base, but a lot of people criticize it because Jason isn't in the entire film. So what would you say to fans on why this is one of the better Friday the 13th films?
Good question. I think I really like Jason Goes to Hell because it really tried to push the envelope of what you could do in a slasher movie. Mm-hmm. Did we fully succeed? That's not for me to say. Maybe not. But I think we got enough Jason in there and enough splatter and gore to keep the movie moving along. And I was really proud of the fact that we tried to break away from some of the cliches.
Exactly.
And really do something different.
Exactly. Like I'm like when I was younger, I didn't really care for the movie because Jason wasn't in it, and I remember most of the films except for the first one, Jason was always the killer. But then as I grew up and I started getting into like literature and then getting into the acting industry, starting up Gravestone Films myself and starting to do screenwriting and all that, I appreciated how the film was different from the others. It wasn't the same old teenagers having premarital sex and doing drugs and then being killed one by one. It was completely different, and it took the series and franchise to a whole new different level, and I absolutely love that about it.
We were trying to evolve the series beyond what it was.
Exactly. To hear the rest of my interview with Adam Cranner, who played Ward in Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday, you can order the Ultimate Slasher Movie Encyclopedia. To find out when the Ultimate Slasher Movie Encyclopedia is for sale, you can like my Facebook fan page at www.facebook.com/smccoyauthor.